Hey everybody, this is Freedom is the Right, welcoming you back to yet another video review. Today we're going to be taking a look at War for Cybertron Kingdom Voyager class Dinobot. Now this is a figure that I was in great anticipation for ever since Kingdom was announced. Dinobot is definitely by far my favorite Beast Wars character, and I'm really excited to share him with you. So without further ado, let's get into it. And coming in here we have Dinobot in his Velociraptor mode, and honestly I think he looks pretty good. At the end of the day, Dinobot has one of the hardest character models to convert into a beast mode, and this is just a mainline figure and there are budget constraints even at Voyager class, so I think they did a pretty good job for, you know, what it is. The skin, the texturing is really cool. I really like the details of the stripes along here. I would have maybe liked to see the color contrast a little bit more, maybe a different shade for the stripes would have been nice. Coming into the back, you can kind of see some of the robot hanging out under here, and you do have the feet here, but definitely from the right angles, he looks really good. And coming back here to the tail, you can see this is really nicely done. The piece that becomes the sword inside of here does stick out at the end, which doesn't look the best. I wish they could have maybe done something to encase the entire sword. That would have looked a little nicer. But yeah, overall his paint and everything is nice. The front teeth are missing, much like Studio Series 86 Grimlock. But coming here to the mouth, it does open up, which reveals some really nice detail. The tongue is painted in here. The teeth are really nicely sculpted, which is nice. The hands do look a little weird too. These could have maybe been sculpted a little better. And overall, there isn't a ton of articulation in his dinosaur mode. You can't even really move his head from side to side or anything. The hands here are on a ball joint, so you can kind of move those. There's a hinge here, so you can move this up and down. The legs don't really move around too much. You can twist these here. These do rock back and forth. But yeah, overall I think they did a pretty good job with the Dino Mode. It's definitely the weaker of the two modes, but it's not awful. And that's pretty much it for Dino Mode, so we can go ahead and get down to transformation. So the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go ahead and detach this tail here and set that to the side. And now we can come in here to the legs, and we can go ahead and straighten these out and just kind of lift that up, hinge it up out of the way, do the same with the other side, hinge it up and out of the way. And now we're going to come back here. There are little tabs that hook in over here, and we're going to want to kind of pull this to the side and down, and this will all come out. And there is a point here that connects, and this also connects up in here, so that's where that secures in. We're going to come to the other side and repeat the same process. Pull this out to the side and down, and pull the whole leg assembly down, and that's going to free all of this up. We do want to go ahead and take these and hinge them out like this and just kind of get them out of the way, and we're going to take the dino head and just push it down like that. And there's a really neat little trick here with this piece, which does push in and out of the way as the dino head comes down. Now we're going to take this whole assembly and rotate it around like that. And now we can come down here to the legs, and we're just going to want to straighten these out. Take this, and this is going to clip in here like that. Then we can go ahead and take the feet, and we're going to want to hinge this forward and pull this back to make the heel spur, and repeat the same process here. Close this up, hinge this down, and pull out the heel spur, and make sure that's all adjusted appropriately. And now we can go ahead and come back here to this section, we're just going to want to untab this to reveal the head, and then this whole assembly will come down and clip into place like that, and then there is a piece here. It's going to peg into the back of the dino head, just like that. Now we can go ahead and take this assembly and rotate it, and there's tabs on either side that are going to plug in to ports on either side of this. So just like that. Now we're going to want to go ahead and take the arms and hinge these up. Do the same on the other side, hinge that up. Like that. And then we're going to take this piece here and we're just going to rotate and flip that out. Do the same on the other side. And now we're going to go ahead and hinge this section down. And this is really neat. I like how they did the chest here. I like how they did the engineering to kind of make it look how it did in the animation, because in the animation the dino head looks kind of spread out. So it was a neat trick. I'm glad they did it that way. And so now we can come in here to the Velociraptor hands, hinge that up, rotate it, and there is a little slot here and there's a peg. So we can go ahead and line that up and put that in just like that. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And clip that in. And there we have that. Now we can come to the arms, and we're going to just want to rotate here at the top of the arm. And we can rotate the wrist, close up the hands, and bring this whole assembly down. And there we have one arm done. Now we can come here, do the same, rotate here, rotate and close these up, and straighten him out. And there we have Dinobot, and he's transformed into his robot mode. Now the next thing we're going to want to do is, this is the tail here, and we can split this open. Like so, and you can pull this out, and here we have his sword, which is painted purple. I really like this color for it. Like I said, I do wish they could have engineered this so that it could have encased the entire sword instead of having the tip hanging out, which kind of breaks up the, you know, the look of the dinosaur mode. And this is his like little shield slash blaster, because there's a hole you could plug in some blast effects here. And I do wish that this had been maybe painted inside like a pink color, sort of like the MP version of Dinobot. And we're going to set these off to the side for a minute, and we're going to go ahead and take a closer look at Dinobot. So coming in here, this head sculpt is absolutely incredible. Like, it looks spot on to the animation. Nice blue paint for the face, nice red eyes. We have his sort of eyebrows here done in the black. It's really nicely sculpted, and it's sculpted in the back too is really nice. Honestly, you could have fooled me into thinking this head sculpt was from the Masterpiece version. That's how well it was done. And coming down here, like I said, the chest is done really nicely. We have the nice blue and gold here on the side, and these faux pieces which give the look like it's the raptor face spread out. Some nice gold down here for the crotch plate, some orange paint along here, nice orange plastic, some sculpted detail. The toes look really nice, some nice sculpting along those. One thing I will say is the arms are a little lanky. They're kind of long, but again, engineering only can go so far at this price point for a figure like this. Doesn't bother me too terribly much, to be honest. And he does convert up pretty cleanly. There's not much of a backpack going on here, which is nice. One thing I will say for this guy is I think what would have made him a little stronger is some nice paint applications. I wish there had been some gold on here and just overall more paint on the leg sections would have been nice to see. But overall he still looks nice. Articulation wise, you can move the head side to side. It's on a ball joint. He can look down a little bit, can look up a tiny bit. It does rotate 360 degrees. Turning here to the arms, these do rotate 360. They do hinge up like that and outward like this. There's also some rotation here up at the shoulder joint. We have 90 degrees of bend here. There is wrist rotation, which is nice. Coming down here, there is waist rotation. And one thing I'll say about the waist is it does feel a little bit floppy, which really kind of worried me in the beginning. I thought he might break easily. I was kind of timid with transforming him. I've had him for a while now though, and it doesn't seem like that's going to break, but still it's a little worrisome. Turning down here, we do have thigh rotation. It's a little stiff on mine. And then also we do get about 90 degrees of bend here at the knee joint. Coming down here, we do get a little bit of a tilt forward, and we have ankle rockers which bend really nice and far. So now we're going to go ahead and take his weapons and arm him up. As I was saying, this piece looks really nice. The sword, I like the purple color. And you can put his sword in his hand. You can give him his little shield slash blaster. And there you have Dinobot with all his weapons, and it looks really cool. I think they did a really great job on this. And also another thing which is cool is you can also store both of these. You can put this back in here and close it up, and honestly you can leave the whole tail attached to Dinobot while you transform him, which I think is pretty nice. So there's storage. Doesn't look too bad either as far as storage goes. So yeah, that pretty much covers it for Dinobot's robot mode. So now coming in here for some size comparisons, we can take a look with War for Cybertron Kingdom Deluxe Class Cheetor. See how they can scale together. And they look pretty good. And here he is next to War for Cybertron Kingdom Deluxe Class Air Razor. So you can see how these two look together. And here he is next to War for Cybertron Voyager Class Optimus Primal. And these guys look really good. He's taller than Optimus Primal, which is definitely appropriate. And finally, we have War for Cybertron Kingdom Leader Class Megatron. So you can see how these guys look together. And they look really good too. So that just about wraps it up for War for Cybertron Kingdom Voyager Class Dinobot. Overall, I really like this guy. I think they did a great job with him for the price class that he's at and for the complexity of, you know, Dinobot's character model versus the Dino Mode he has. I think that the paint on the legs could have been done a little better to improve upon this figure, and honestly, I even might have liked to see him a little bit bigger. I think if he had been put in the leader class point, he could have been a smaller leader, but with a little more engineering and paint, which would have looked really nice. Maybe even he could have gotten some of his golden discs, which was a major part of his character and his story arc in the Beast Wars series. But other than that, I do really like this guy. I'm glad I added him. I was really looking forward to him. Like I said, he's my favorite Beast Wars character, and I wasn't really let down or disappointed. So overall, I would give him an 8 out of 10. Let me know down below in the comments if you agree, if you don't, and until next time, I will see y'all later.